tremor there, so to speak. But now, like the scripture say in Habakkuk, at the end it shall speak and not lie. So that's where we're at right now. Right now it's coming, and it's coming full force. It's so much stuff happening that you can't even keep up with every single thing that's happening in the world.
Yeah, I had it on Euro News early in the morning, and every story was bad news. It went pretty much all around the world, and every story was pretty much bad news. All right? Okay, now you got it set on that article, and I'm just going to have the Edomite. Like I said, you don't even really have to read it because he basically reads the whole article. All right, so you see the article up on screen, and then you're going to see this Edomite going into it. Give me a second.
This is from the EU Times, and it says, Obama orders military to prepare for spring food riots. And the date on this is January 13th, 2011. I have another link here. Same thing. This is from beforeitsnews.com. Obama orders military to prepare for spring food riots. And I have one more link as well. And this one is from the rumormillnews.com. And again, I can't necessarily pinpoint it, but I think this is well worth making a video about and passing this information around. It is on the alternative news stations. I have not seen it on the mainstream, but I'm going to go ahead and document this right now. It says, Obama orders military to prepare for spring food riots, dated Thursday, January 13, 2011. A grim report prepared by France's General Directorate for External Security obtained by Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service states that President Obama and Sarkozy have agreed in principle to create a joint U.S.-European military force to deal exclusively with a global uprising expected this spring as our world runs out of food. According to this report, Sarkozy, as head of the G20 group of developed nations, called for and received an emergency meeting with Obama this past Monday at the White House, wherein he warned his American counterpart that the shock rise in food prices occurring due to an unprecedented series of disasters was threatening the stability of the entire world and could lead to an outbreak of total global war. Listen to the hidden messages that are inside of this. Just last week, French Prime Minister Francois Fillon underlined that one of the France's top G20's priorities was to find a collective response to excessive volatility in the food prices now occurring. A statement joined by Philippe Charlemagne, a top economic advisor to the French government, who warned the world may face a social unrest, including food riots, as soon as April, as grain prices increase to unprecedented highs. The fears of the French government over growing global instability was realized this past week after food riots erupted in Algeria, Tanzania, and left over 50 people dead. So dire has the situation become in Tanzania that their government this morning rushed a massive amount of troops and tanks to their capital city, Tunis, if I'm saying that right, and instituted a nationwide curfew in order to quell the growing violence. Go ahead and finish reading the rest of the story here. This is very important, people, because as we know and as we can see, the food prices are going up. I know I've noticed some things since I've been getting ready, like 18 months ago. I have seen some food prices sharply increase. So I want to encourage everyone to help me with these stories. Like I said, I haven't seen any of this on the mainstream, but I found it on several alternative news stations.
A loaf of bread, man.
Go ahead and help me with this. If you hear anything back, let me know. Let's pass the word around. We've got to get this out. We've got to start getting ready. If you haven't started getting ready, you need to do so soon.
Okay, so let's come back to me. All right. You got anything, Ak? You got anything? All right.
Yeah, because Elder Tar was showing the debt clock, and that's in relation to this scripture here, which we always bring out. Habakkuk 2:6. It says, "Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, like America. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay." Now, Elder Tar was the first to look that term up, thick clay. And when you look it up in the Hebrew, it's from the Hebrew word ibatyat, which means debt. So that's what you have, with this mountain debt, which is at what, 14 trillion now.
Yeah, that's what's causing the austerity, that debt. That's what's really causing the austerity, because it's basically what it's causing is that the value of the dollar is going down so far that the commodities that you used to buy that you were able to afford with the money that you made, you were able to pay for everything and still have a few dollars left over so you can do whatever you had to do, vacation or whatever, put some money aside. You can't do that anymore because the money that you're making now is barely enough to pay for the substances that you need just to survive every day.
Yeah. Jake ain't going. I mean, people ain't going down there to Disney World like they used to. You know who's down there in Disney World? Them Europeans, man. You'll see Germans down there, maybe Italians, mostly Germans. Because my wife had went down there a couple of years back. Well, she went there like 2 years in a row, and basically you run into a bunch of Edomites that mostly speak German. Most of them are from Europe, because the euro is a lot stronger than the U.S. the Federal Reserve note. In other words, in order for you to get a 100 euros, let's say you take a trip to Europe, to Germany or whatever, or wherever you go with a euro, that's the currency. In order for you to get 100 euros, you have to dish out about 135 American dollars. Now, when the Europeans come to the States, I believe it works out to about $74, they get 100 U.S. dollars or Federal Reserve notes. So your money goes that much further.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. "And the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sounding of the..."
Yeah, that's your unemployment. And that bullshit, when Barack Obama came in and it shot up to 10% unemployment, then it came down a couple of points, that's bullshit, man. The unemployment has got to be closer to 20%. And then you have certain areas, when you break it down as far as race is concerned, you have certain areas where Jake live. When you deal with demographics, you have certain areas where Jake live, where Jake, the unemployment for Jake is 30% or more.
It says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden,